Alright, let's cut the fluff and get straight into it. You're in a conversation, and no matter how much you explain, the other person just doesn't get it. And you're there thinking, what the hell is going on? Why can't they see this like I do? That's because they're not on your wavelength. They're in their own metaphor, their own world, and you're trapped in yours, trying to force them into your frame. It's like trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't fit, and it never will unless you change something. Now here's the kicker. You can change that. You can bridge the gap between you and them without losing your mind. You can guide them to get it. And holy shit, when you do, it feels like magic. But it's not magic. It's just the science of communication working in your favour. The trick. You need to shift frames, shift metaphors. Speak in a way that resonates with them, not you. How do you already do this? Right now. You probably already do this, but unconsciously. Think about it like this. Have you ever explained something to a kid? You don't use big words or complicated ideas. You break it down into something they can actually grasp. You say something like, it's like when you build your Legos. You take one piece and another until it fits perfectly. You change the metaphor to something they already know, something they can picture. That's you changing the frame. You do it all the time. Maybe you just don't realize it. Let's take this up a notch. You're sitting with someone, trying to explain why they need to change something in their life. They're stuck in their own frame of reference, seeing things through a lens that doesn't match yours. They can't see it, because you're talking in terms that don't click with them. You might be talking about logic, reason, numbers, facts. But they might care more about feelings, experiences, or personal stories. Here's a classic. Imagine you're telling a friend about how important it is to start working out. You're going, it's about getting stronger, increasing muscle mass, keeping your body fit. But they don't get it. They're looking at you like you're speaking in a foreign language. Why? Because they don't give a shit about muscle mass. What they care about is feeling better, having more energy, not getting tired so quickly when they walk up the stairs. Your frame is mismatching theirs. So how do you change that? You've got to learn to chunk up and chunk down. Let me break that down. Chunking up means pulling the conversation to a bigger, broader picture. For example, you talk about health, vitality, living a longer life. That's chunking up. You're getting them to see the bigger picture. Chunking down is zooming in, into the nitty-gritty details. Instead of just saying, exercise is good for you, you might say, you feel less out of breath when you walk. Your back doesn't hurt. You sleep better. You move between these up and down until you find the sweet spot. You find the frame that matches their metaphor. This is how you get through to them. And when you do, it's like you've just unlocked their brain. They suddenly understand exactly what you're saying. But wait, there's more. Pacing and leading. You know how it feels to connect with someone when they're really getting you, right? That's rapport. But if you're talking to someone who's just not in the same place, you've got to first pace where they are. You match their energy, their state, their frame. You acknowledge where they're coming from. Maybe they don't see the value of working out. Maybe they think it's a waste of time. So you pace that. You get into their world. You say something like, yeah, I get it. You don't feel like going to the gym is worth it right now. What if you just started with small stuff? Like just getting in a few steps a day. Getting a bit of air on your face and seeing how that feels. You don't try to drag them to your perspective yet. You meet them where they are. You get them to feel understood, and when you do, you lead them to the next step. You show them, maybe, this thing isn't such a big deal after all. Here's the kicker. When you pace first, they trust you more. They feel heard, and then you lead them to where you want them to go. They're more likely to follow because they feel you get them. So what's the science behind all this? Here's the simple truth. Humans are wired to connect with frames of meaning. When someone is stuck in their own perspective, it's like their brain is locked in a box. You're trying to force them to see it your way. That's not how brains work. What actually happens when you change the frame, when you adjust your metaphor, is their brain can finally see things from a new angle. It's like a mental reset. And when you hit that moment, the brain can't help but shift. And here's the beautiful thing. It's not just about talking, it's about resonating. It's about understanding that people have their own mental maps of the world. Those maps, they're shaped by experiences, feelings, and perceptions. Your job isn't to convince them that your map is better. It's to help them to see that your map can lead them to a better place than their own. So what's stopping you from doing this? Let's talk about why you're afraid to do this. Maybe you're scared of rejection, scared of coming across as manipulative, scared of being misunderstood. It's natural. We all want to be liked. We all want to be seen as good people. But let me tell you something. You're not manipulating anyone. You're leading them to a better understanding. If you do it with care, with integrity, you're just helping them unlock a new way of seeing the world. If you don't do this, you're leaving them in the dark. You're letting them stay stuck. You're keeping them in a frame that's never going to help them grow. That's the karma of inaction. And frankly, that sucks. You got the power to help people, and you owe it to them to use it. The main patterns that keep you stuck. Not asking the right questions. You can't solve someone's problem if you don't ask the right questions to uncover their frame. Overcomplicating things. You're trying to explain something in ways that are not relatable to them. Simplify it. Ignoring the emotions. People are moved by feelings more than logic. Recognize that, and you'll break down walls. Not shifting frames. If you keep hitting the wall, that's a sign. Change the metaphor, shift the perspective, and watch their brain snap open. So here is what I want you to remember, and take this deep into your unconscious. When you shift frames, you shift minds. When you pace and lead, you help them grow. When you use metaphors, you speak directly to their subconscious. You already have all the tools to do this. You're not just talking, you're guiding. And that, my friend, is a fucking powerful thing. So go out there now and start using it. And when you do, you'll change your life and the lives of those around you. Just stop overthinking it. If you don't, you're going to stay stuck. And that's the last thing you want.